Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm looking all fresh and green today. Today we are doing a comparison video, and it's not like any other video that I have seen. I'm going to go through 5 different comparisons because you guys email me all the time, message me, DM me on Insta about your purchases and what you're thinking about buying and whether I should go with this one or this one, and very similar choices. So I'm going to go through those choices and what my preferences are and the reasons for those preferences. I hope you enjoy this video, guys. Grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and let's get right into the first comparison. Now the first thing I will say is I'm not going to do this too detailed because each of these bags have their own video review. So this is a very light on view and a very light comparison with each bag, and to look at the bags side by side and see how similar they are. Alright, my first comparison is a very, very popular choice. 2 very popular choices of handbag. One is the Chanel Classic Flap, classic handbag, and then 2, the new Chanel 19. You can see that these are very different bags, but they're also very similar, and I find that I get a lot of questions about these 2 bags. Which would I prefer? Would I prefer the Chanel Classic Flap or would I prefer the Chanel 19? The main question that I always ask people is this going to be a forever bag for you? Do you want this bag forever? Do you want to love it and wear it forever? And if so, probably the Chanel Classic Flap is a no-brainer because it is so popular. It's a classic. It's a very classic handbag. Me personally, I would choose the Chanel 19 because the Classic Flap isn't really my jam, and also the Chanel 19 has a top handle. I also like the leather of the Chanel the Chanel 19. Now I'm getting confused. And I love how it feels. Whereas this is a little bit boxy and a little bit hard in my opinion. So that's the first comparison. You can see that they are very different handbags, but they come from the same design house and they do have different elements. There's also something to be said about personal style, you know. Are you a traditional style, conservative, maybe dresser, like things a little bit dressier? Or are you more of a modern type of girl with a little bit of a twist or an edginess to you? So those things sort of come into play when I look at these 2 bags and the comparisons. They're both very similar. They both have a slip pocket at the back. They both have a chain, 2 different types of chains. This is a chunky chain, and then this one is the small Chanel chain, which is notorious for getting twisted, okay? The inside, the sizing is nearly the same as well, guys. They're both 26 centimeters wide. Now, obviously, the Classic Flap has a double flap. Okay, I've only got one hand, so I'm only showing you this one. But if you're interested in this video, guys, you can go and check out the video review on this. I'll also leave a link to that video in this video or below. This one's got the flap as well. It doesn't have a double flap, it's just one flap. I've got a red insert as well in there. But you can see here, double flap, burgundy lining. There's a lot of compartments in this one, not so many in this one. This is kind of standard. But, you know, out of the both, they are similar handbags. Which is your choice? Which ones would you choose? This next comparison is not something that I get asked about a lot, but I find these bags so similar that I thought it was worth a mention. Now, the bags in question is the LV Capucines. Which other bag do you think looks like this? I know you're scouting behind me, you're looking, you're racking your brain. I'll tell you. It's the Fendi Peekaboo. Now I know they don't look identical, but the shape is very similar. okay? The Peekaboo is a little bit taller, only a little bit. They've both got silver, you know, something silver there. This one's got the LV logo. They both have a top handle. They both have shoulder straps. And they're both compartmentalized the same. So they've got 2 compartments inside. The Capucines is the same, 2 compartments inside. This is probably, the Capucines is probably more maneuverable and moldable, whereas the Peekaboo is a little bit more structured. This Peekaboo anyway, the Essentially one. There is the other one, which is the iconic, the traditional Peekaboo, which is a little bit different. And I know that it's not as structured, it's more kind of domey. I think that's actually very similar to this one too, the traditional Peekaboo. Out of both of these, I would always choose the Capucines. I choose the Capucines because the Capucines is timeless. It is such a classic bag that just doesn't date. And it looks amazing on the arm. And the durability of this, the leather and the grain is great. This one is a very smooth leather, so it can scratch very easily. Whereas this one is a whole lot more durable. I'll show you close up. Grain leather, smooth leather. Can you even see anything because it's so smooth? Very similar handbags. Okay, the next comparison is a bag that I think looks very similar kind of styling. And it's the Trendy CC with the Valentino stud bag, rock stud bag, spike bag, sorry. Yeah, I find that these are very similar. They're both quilted. They're both similar sizing. I would say that the Valentino one is probably a little bit bigger just because of the width there. The height is very similar. They've got the flap on the front. You know, this one's got the CC logo. This one's got a little bit of a weird kind of closure. The biggest difference here is the fact that this one's a little bit bigger and there's a lot of studding on this one. It's a lot of hardware and studding. They've both got pockets at the back. Both got top handles. This one has hardware on the top. This one just has hardware throughout. Out of both of these bags, and I'm not talking about color here, I'm just talking about the style. Out of both of these bags, the one that I would choose would always be the Trendy CC, because this is a classic style and I think it's much more timeless. And that's something that when you guys ask me, what should I choose, this bag or that bag, for my first purchase? Some might say to me, it's my first purchase, what would you recommend? And so I would have to think about the fact that it's their first purchase and they don't want a trend bag. They don't want a bag that is going to date in 6 months' time and then they'll have to replace it with something else. They want something they can use for years, right? So the classic Chanel Trendy CC is definitely one of those bags. This bag is really fun. It's great. It's edgy. I love the fact that it's in the grey. I love the stud work, but I don't feel like this is a forever bag. This is not a bag that's going to last you 20 years, you know, even though it's a very similar style. The one thing I'll say with this bag is it seems a lot more durable than the Trendy CC in the leather, in the construction. It's a very hard bag, so it doesn't really mold. It's very structured. There's a lot of hard lines, you know. It's really great and edgy. If you wear a lot of leather, I mean, this bag would be amazing, you know. So this is an edgy bag and it's great and I love using it, but in comparison with the Trendy CC, I would always choose the Trendy CC. You can wear a lot more things with the Trendy CC than you can with this one. So my pick is the Trendy. This next comparison are two bags that are pretty much the exact same size, okay? So I'm comparing the fact that the volume inside the bag is pretty much identical, and they're very similar, and they kind of came out at the same time, so that there was a bit of a struggle for a while. One got way more publicity, and that is the Dior book tote. This got so much publicity. It was so famous. Every Instagram had one of these. The finish of these and the make of these is beautiful, even though it's not leather or anything. But, you know, essentially it's just a big bucket. It is just a big bucket with no pockets, nothing in this. So the usability of this item is not very high, you know. I have put an insert, you guys would have seen in my review video, I've got an insert for this so that I could have some pockets and have some structure, or else it's just a big bucket. But the comparison I'm doing is between the on-the-go tote and the book tote. Now, these bags are identical in size, identical. The great thing about the book tote is the fact that it's a coated canvas, so it's light, but it's also lined. There's also a pocket, which I've filled up to the brim because I'm actually using this bag at the moment. So there's a pocket at the back here. So, and there's 2 slip pockets, so there's 3 pockets in total. There's also, which is what the winning item is, the shoulder straps. The fact that this has shoulder straps makes it so usable. You can throw it on your shoulder if you've got carrying a lot of stuff, because let's face it, it's a big bag, right? Big bags tend to get filled, and when they're filled, they are heavy. So when there are shoulder straps, it's a win. It is a win for me, and this trumps the book tote. Even though I love the look of the book tote, I love how it, you know, looks on, but as soon as you put something in it that's heavy, it becomes unusable. You have to hold this, and it's like the worst bag in the world because it's so heavy if you actually put books in it. You know, it's so heavy, guys. And I just think that they didn't think this through, even though it got so much hype. I just think long term, this is not a great bag. Even though I think visually it's timeless, this is so much more usable. And you don't have to go with this one. This is the jungle print. I wanted something fun, you know. This one's different, back and front. The handles are going everywhere. Let me pop them back in. That's the other thing I like about the shoulder straps. You can pop them back in. They don't sit outside like the DeVille tote. So you can pop them in and you can hold it, and it's the same look as the book tote, right? Apart from the material. But these come in so many different colors and prints, and you know, surely you'll find one that is perfect for you. I just thought this was so fun. I'm a real black and white person, and the fact that there's black on one side and white on the other just sold it to me. I have worn this, this is one of my most used bags in my entire collection, because I go between my boyfriend's house and my house every week. And I spend half the time over there every week. So, and I've told you guys this before, this is the bag I take every single time, and it is brilliant. It is so brilliant. It fits everything that I need for an overnight stay. I can also put my workbooks in here, my laptop, my iPad, anything like that. It's such a versatile bag, and it's so user-friendly. Was really surprised how often I use this bag, and it still looks amazing. It looks incredible for the fact that I have used this and abused this and beaten it and thrown it in cars, and you know, like I was not precious with this bag ever, and it still looks incredible. So, not in short, in very long, my pick is the on-the-go tote. Because of the shoulder straps, because of the pockets inside, because it is durable, and also the coated canvas. The coated canvas is a wipe down. If you spill anything on the outside, not the inside's fabric, okay? But if on the outside, say if you put this down on the ground, if you're at the bus stop and you put this down on the ground and it's wet, the ground's wet, you just easily wipe it off. If you did that with this, you would stain this fabric and you would not be able to get it out. This was something that I was so concerned about. I stopped using this because I thought, wait a minute, if anything splashes on it, if anything spills, or if I mark it in some way, it's damaged and I can't clean it. I can't put it in the washing machine. How am I going to clean it dry? Big reason why I've put these twillies and the houndstooth on the top was because the handles started getting discolored. They started getting dirty. And I was like, wait a minute, how am I going to clean this? So I've wrapped them up with the twillies. I don't have to worry with this bag. This bag is just a wipe down. Like, chalk and cheese, guys, chalk and cheese. That was a hard one to discuss because I know the book tote is so famous. I know it's so loved by so many people, but the practicality, guys, and the usability, for me, the points get marked down when, you know, it doesn't tick all those boxes. There's only so long you can deal with something that's just attractive. You know, it has to be functional, has to work in your life, work in your wardrobe, work in your taste. Like, there's so many elements, right? Okay, we're on to our very last comparison, and this one is probably a question I get asked a lot, and also a question that is asked a lot on the internet. Are you a Birkin girl or a Kelly girl? Okay, so this is the question at hand. Are you a Birkin or a Kelly girl? I love me a good Birkin and I love me a good Kelly. I think that they have uses for different things. I think that the Birkin is a really great everyday bag. It's a great weekend bag. It really, to me, is a little bit more casual. I find it more casual because of the, you know, the looseness here and the fact that it's two and it opens out. I don't feel like it's as dressy as the Kelly. The style is as dressy as the Kelly. Now, to compare, the main difference here is that the Birkin has two handles, the Kelly has one. There's also a difference in the flap. So the Kelly flap is one solid flap like that. The Birkin flap is an awkward three-piece number that looks like this. I find it quite unattractive, if I can be honest, this flap, which is why I always tuck my flaps in. But we're doing a comparison, and that's, you know, a big comparison. Now, for the size, I'm just letting you know, this one's a Birkin 30, and this is a Kelly 32. Okay, so very similar in size. But I have to say, I think the Birkin fits more, mainly because of the width. It is a wider bag. And it's also a more open bag. So the way that it opens up like this, the opening is a lot bigger and you can see stuff and find stuff a lot easier. Now, mine would open up a little bit more if I loosened these. And it does open, but I don't find it's as user-friendly to go in and out because of this flap and the small opening at the top. You can sort of see it goes out along the sides. But yeah, I don't find it as user-friendly to get in and out of like the Birkin. The Birkin is very, very easy to use. I'm just gonna close my little Kelly up because that's how I like her. You guys know that I also have the burgundy color up there, which I absolutely adore. That's my custom made one. For this video, I thought it would be nice and bright to just compare it with this, but that size there is a size 32 as well, so it's the same size as this. So, out of the Birkin and the Kelly, which would I choose if I was in a burning building and I could only pick one? I'll choose the Kelly. I would always choose the Kelly. Why would I choose the Kelly? I love me a Birkin, and I'll tell you honestly that I'm even using the Birkin at the moment. My stuff is in it, so this is my handbag currently. And I love the style of this. I just find that the Kelly is more classic in its style, in its design. I find it more timeless. I find it more simplistic in the front. So I tend to feel like it's going to sort of be a little bit more timeless and durable when it comes to wearability. I also like the fact that it's very dressy, but it can be very casual. I find the Birkin a little bit more casual, and I'm more of a dressy person. I like to dress up. I like to be well dressed most of the time. And I find that this bag is very elegant, a lot more elegant than the Birkin. I love the Birkin. I think it's really, you know, cool. The other thing I really like about the Kelly is that there's a shoulder strap. With the Birkin, you know, they don't come with shoulder straps, and there is sort of a jiggy that you can do with the little attachments to the straps that they have on the Birkin. Anyway, it's a whole hot mess, but they don't come with a strap, and it's not easy to fit one on because there's no place to fit one on. So you're really quite restricted with the Birkin, that you just have to hand hold it or put it in the crook of your arm. You can't wear it crossbody. I find that the Kelly is a great bag to travel with, because when I'm out and about, when I'm walking, exploring cities, I can put the strap on crossbody and away I go. I find it a whole lot easier to travel with and use in multiple ways, rather than the Birkin is really just, you know, from here to the cafe, from here to work and home. It's not super versatile in that way because there's no strap. So that's why I would choose the Kelly over the Birkin. There you go, guys. Was that a surprise? Are you a Kelly girl or a Birkin girl? I bet most of you guys are a Birkin girl. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But for me, I've used both, and even though I'm currently using the Birkin and I love it, I find that the Kelly is so much more versatile in styling and also in usability because of the strap. When I'm at the supermarket, I can put the strap on, etc. There you go, guys. I hoped you enjoyed this video, and I hoped it inspired you to purchase that dream bag that you've always been wanting. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification if you haven't already. I do 2 videos a week, mainly on bags and fashion. But also head over to my Instagram. I'm so active and prominent on Instagram. I run a lot of polls and contests and giveaways. So always head over there and be part of our family. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you next time in my next video. Bye for now.